All right, and we are live. Welcome, my friends and gems. We are here having another episode with this life-saving technology. I'm so happy and excited. We're going to start off this broadcast with an incredible testimonial from yours truly, Superman, Gary Homberg, who has an incredible story of body. Oh my gosh, here I go again. See, perfection is not required. All this hair growth. I got this crazy hair sticking up. Carol and I have been talking about this little challenge we've had recently. But
Yep. Well, we have Superman with us, so we're good now.
so we're good because we
There
really,
you go. There you
oh,
go.
this is
Yeah.
a literal Superman. So Gary, thank you. As you can
Yep.
tell, action's not required for
Okay.
you to do this. But I want to hand over the mic to you, so to speak. I want you to share where you were at when you started, before you got started on the patches, and then what happened as you wore the patches and where you are now. What was your challenge? And so I want to thank you, first of all, because I know you're super busy. You're a senior presidential director. You got a ton of people that are biting for your attention. So without further ado, go ahead, share your story.
Okay. Well, thank you first of all for asking me to share my story. I'm always, honored to do anything for LifeWave with LifeWave. If I can help anyone in any capacity, I'm always, available. And I've helped a bunch of people on my team, not on my team. So this is truly, I believe, a gift from God, and I feel thrilled, honored, and thankful certainly of what He's done in our life and the lives of so many others. So on June 10th of 2021, a lady who was a good friend of mine at the time had called me up and told me about the improvements that her husband had had. And we had been in business before, someone I knew, liked, trusted. I thought it sounded too good to be true. Thought it was affordable, and I was pretty much, on board in about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. And I thought it's, like I said, sounded too good to be true. But her husband had chronic pain that was gone in a pretty reasonable amount of time. I'm going to say maybe a week. And hang on one second, Barb. Can you close that door, honey? Yeah. So on June 14th, the day before the X39 came, Barbara was lying on the couch in sobbing tears. I mean, just flat out bawling. And she had a chronic wrist for 2 years. And I would say, don't open the coffee cup and whatever. And I'll do this. But how do you not use your hand when you're a homemaker and, taking care of a husband who's pretty busy even then? And she also had a chronic hip she hadn't slept on in 7 years. And every now and then I'd say, how's your hip? She said it hurts. I thought maybe it got better. No, it was still painful. Barbara just wasn't a complainer. And we just kind of moved on. So on June 15th, X39 arrives. We put it on at 12 o'clock like we do every day, typically at the back of our neck or below the belly button. And I want something on today because I have some dental stuff going on, and I'm kind of maybe old school. I like to put the patch if there's an issue or a problem or pain on it, but there is no wrong place, as we, hopefully all know now. It'll work anywhere on your body. So Barbara put it on the back of her neck. 4 hours later, 2 p.m., she said, I'm going to go see how my hip is. I'm like, watching TV, whatever. Comes out of the bedroom, tears of joy. 7-year hip pain gone. I'm like, what? 7 year gone? Next day, chronic wrist pain gone. So, 2 days in, we're, 2 years and 7 years worth of pain gone. And I'm kind of like wondering, what the heck is this? So the next day, I drove to Sarasota to meet Dr. Stacy. And I called a friend of mine, hadn't seen him in a while, by the name of Ron Anthony, and he'd done some other direct sales business. And I said, hey, Ron, I found something I think you might be interested in. And when Ron came walking in, kind of waddling, if you will. And I said, I looked at him, I said, what's wrong with you? And he said, I got 2 herniated discs. And I thought, whoa. I don't know what that feels like, but I would tell you, Ron didn't look like he felt real good kind of walking in like that. So Dr. Stacy put an X39 and E on and an ice wave on his back. And in a couple of minutes, Ron said, I'm starting to feel something. Again, I'm 2-3 days into this. I have no idea what we've come across. And so after lunch, Ron drives home to Naples, 3-4 hour ride. And I call him. He said, my pain's gone. I said, what? Your pain's gone? So, 3 different issues of pain, chronic, pretty much gone. And I'm, again, wondering. Well, in the first week, I noticed I had black hair growing in my eyebrow. And I'm like, I got black hair in my eyebrow. What's up with that? I mean, yeah, I had no idea. I'm like, I kind of, try. I don't want any Mickey or Andy Rooney eyebrows, so I kind of, I trim my eyebrows and all that stuff. But that really was like, that's weird. And I would show you my before picture, but I'm on my phone and I've misplaced my before picture. But I was, oh, here we go. I don't know how well you can see it. But the one, this one here was getting kind of thin, and the one on the left is about a year later. And I didn't know I was going bald, and I was like, man, I'm going bald, like God. And I wasn't looking forward to that. But hey, what are you going to do? It's just kind of, and now this was a year later. As far as my hair, and it's still darker, and it's getting darker and fuller. And the lady that cuts my hair is now wearing the patch, if that says anything, okay? Because she would say to me, she says, your hair grows so quick. I say, Nettie, it's the patches. So she's on the X39. Matter of fact, the other day, she turned around and showed me her patch. And then the other thing for me, I was very fortunate with good health, and I will say it lowered something lowered my cholesterol 50 points. I'd always kind of struggled with high cholesterol, so that was good news. But apparently I got better looking, okay? I didn't think I was I told them to be nice. I was very sensitive. And they made their comments, and turkey neck pretty much was gone. And I hated that turkey neck. I was like, oh, my God. And we were with another company, and they had some sort of cream that you were supposed to put on. And I'm just sorry. I felt too girly putting on stuff on my neck. As much as I hated it, I just couldn't do it. Okay. I just said, oh, I'll just have to live with it. So most of it's gone. So that was kind of my improvement. And then I'll get to how we got to the Superman. So, what was it? So Barbara's chronic hip pain gone. I started growing hair. In the 4th month, my wife had suffered from diverticulitis for 40 plus years.
Oh, wow.
And if you know about diverticulitis, it's one of those things that if you have a tomato seed or a cucumber seed or a watermelon or whatever, well, about 3 years ago, she ate one kernel of corn, and she actually saw it going in with a bowl of soup and thought, it's just one kernel, no big deal. Well, Barbara was in bed for 7 days, okay? It was the worst attack she ever had. Yeah, 7 days. Dang. And with diverticulitis, you're spending time either in the bathroom or the bedroom. I even said, do you want to go to the hospital? And she said, no. I said, well, you don't sound good. She says, I'm not going to the hospital. And diverticulitis, there is no cure. I mean, it's just, that was never on our list. We got a hold of them for the wrist pain and the hip pain. After that, hey, we're in, we'll wear it. Didn't know more things were happening. So 4 months in, we're out having dinner, and we thought we were having seafood chowder, and the service said, no, that's corn chowder. And we're like, oh, my God. Yeah. Excuse me. So Barbara had no reaction, and we're like, wow. 5 months in, we were watching the nightly podcast with Marcy, and it comes on, and we still try to watch it. Barbara also had AFib for 40 plus years, where every couple of weeks or couple of days, usually a week or 2 or 3, she'd say, I have to sit down. My heart's out of whack. And I'd say, okay, I don't want to mess with the heart. And 5 months in, someone said, talked on the live about, AFib. And I said to her, you haven't said nothing about your heart in 5 months. She said, I forgot all about it. Yeah. So bye-bye AFib. what was it? So a year in, we got our eyes examined, and Barbara had already started wearing glasses that she had previously worn because the ones she had were too strong. So we made an appointment with the J.C. Penney lady, Melanie, that we've seen probably for 10 years, Mike, the optometrist or ophthalmologist, whatever, I think optometrist, a good guy. And I said to him, I said, Mike, how are my eyes? He said, well, your left eye got better. I said, got better? Is that normal? He said, no. So we didn't need new glasses. And I'll never forget, we liked Melanie, and, it cost us somewhere between $2,000 and $2,400 because Barbara would get 2 new pair and I would get 2 new pair, and then get a pair of sunglasses. And so we get 6 pairs of glasses with all the protection and the bi and trifocal stuff. And I said to Melanie, I said, has this ever happened before? And she emphatically said, never. And I could kind of hear that Melanie was thinking, there goes my commission. And I don't know what a 2023, but, somewhere between $200 and $400 is kind of walking out the door. So, she took it in stride, but we didn't need glasses. 15 months in, we got our blood work done last March, and the doctor said to Barbara about her thyroid. She'd been on thyroid meds for 10 years. And he pointed at the number and he said, you see that number? That's perfect. Keep taking your medication. And Barbara said, Doc, I haven't taken thyroid meds in 5 months. And he said, what? So she got off of thyroid medication. So those are pretty much a lot of what's going on. So when the X49 came out 9 months after wearing the X39, and the X39 was all we wore for the first 9 months. And the truth of the matter is, it's all we could afford. I mean, $100 for her and $100 for me. That was great. And as our income grew with the company, we've added other patches, certainly. But when I heard David talk about the X49, I thought I got to try this because I've worked out, probably 40 years. I went to the gym today and I run. And back when I got on the 3949, David said somewhere between 20 and 40 days or so, you'll kind of notice a difference. Well, I was probably 50 days, and I had been trying to get back to running because, I've been athletic most all my life, and I've always been active, and I wanted to run. We have a 2.5 mile kind of trek that I used to do, and I couldn't seem to get back to it. So I said to my wife, I said, I thought maybe I'd have to run 100 yards and then walk 100 yards and then run 200 and walk 200. I couldn't get it in. I was just too busy. So one day in February, 2 years ago now, I just said to Barbara, look, I'm going to go jog 2.5 miles. I'll see you when I get back. And I would venture to say at the time when I was 70, I was probably in a very small number of anyone in their right mind who would have ever even attempted something as crazy as jogging 2.5 miles with no warm-up, okay? And I will tell you unequivocally, without a doubt, that was not me. That was the X39 and the X49, and I still do it now, probably at least 6 days a week, and I look forward to it. And Dr. Stacy and I kind of joke, I'm usually so busy that some days I don't seem to get to the gym. And I'll say to Barbara, well, I'm going to run. And I kind of run through the neighborhood with a flashlight and run through the golf course with the flashlight. And, I've been fortunate. I've had like 3 spills that were a little, what kind of went tumbled and there wasn't to, but I'm really trying to run during the daytime instead of nighttime, but I get it in as often as I can. So that's kind of why we have the Superman shirt. And physically, I've never felt so good. And according to my before and after, apparently I haven't looked so good. And my hair is growing in. And I feel great for almost 73 years old.
Wow, that's really quite remarkable. So I want to ask you if there was one thing that you would want people to know who are checking this out for the first time, because some people, have been referred by someone to come to this broadcast to learn about this life-saving technology, who are familiar and they know, like, and trust the person, and others have no, they just happen to see it on a social media feed So what would be the number one thing that you would like people to know that you wish had been told to you when you first, came into contact with the patches?
Yeah. So I've watched the nightly Zooms. I was just talking to a PGA professional. We were at the PGA show, and this is such an incredible product that it's from 1 to 100 years old. Basically, has a something that it can help in some way, shape, or form. The biggest thing I would think for anyone new is that I can't tell you when, I can't tell you how quickly. All I know is, stem cells, according to the New England Journal of Medicine, that's, a highly received publication. Stem cells active are the holy grail of good health and longevity. The more you have, the better your quality and the better your health can be or should be. And the longer you wear this, the more that are restored. And stem cells, when they're reactivated, there's no weekends off, there's no holidays, there's no vacation. They work 24/7, and their sole purpose is to heal, repair, protect you, just like they did when you were a child, teenager, and 20-something, when we were all pretty much bulletproof, and we went day and night. And as the aging process started, we start losing those. But I would say don't quit before the miracle.
All right. So, and my next question to you, Gary, is because again, you at this point, you're our senior presidential director here in Lightwave. And I wanted to ask you then, what do you say to those people who say, you know what, I'm going to just try the patches myself, but I don't want to tell anybody about it until I see effects in my body? What would you respond to those people? What's your advice?
Well, everybody's different. My results, Barbara's results, everyone on here's results are not going to be the same as someone else's results. You can't refute the science behind it. You won't find a more honorable, credible, gifted, godly, humble man than David Schmidt. I've come to the conclusion, if God ever broke the mold after anybody, it was David Schmidt. Okay, I mean, you won't find. I mean, I've never come across, and I've seen him numerous times. I've met him in person, and just incredible. And no doubt, coming out with a non-invasive lightweight technology 20 years ago, had to have some people in that medical or scientific community like kind of make fun or really not. And even today, I've talked with people from Western medicine who don't believe what has happened. And I do a live on Instagram on Wednesday night. And of course, we have the disclaimer, we're not here to treat, cure, diagnose anyone. And matter of fact, LifeWave has no clinical tests proving anything of any value as far as someone having any kind of illness or disease. But what we do have that can't be refuted and no one else has is we have thousands and thousands and thousands of personal testimonials of incredible changes that have taken place that people have suffered. And I always say I'd be looking for a bridge or a rope because I don't have a real good pain threshold. And I've seen people that put on a patch that they don't believe in. They try it because it was referred. They wore it and stuck with it. And it's changed their life like nothing else on the planet. So I would tell someone, don't quit for the miracle. Your results are not going to be someone else's. And Barbara was, until I kind of, realized about my hair growth and my, before and after pic, Barbara was always my story. If you were within 3 feet of me, I was going to say, God, let me tell you what happened to my wife. And that's kind of was always, and then, a year or so in, I, kind of picked up the before and after and the hair growth. But yeah, I would tell everyone your results are, and there's so many people that can use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That don't know about it, don't know even exist.
Yeah. So from the people who are fit and fabulous already, who just want to optimize their bodies, and the people who are very gravely ill with all sorts of symptoms. Again, we don't treat any particular medical diagnosis because none of the clinical studies were done to do that. They're general wellness products, but they work systemically and they reset and rebalance the entire body. So Gary, I would love for you to help me share this technology. I'm going to show my presentation here where we're going to go over slide by slide. And since I have you on here, I would love for you to, let's ham and egg it. Are you up for that?
Yeah, let's see what, yeah, I'm up for it. What are we going to do?
So we're going to go ahead. We're going to talk today primarily about the X39 stem cell activation patch, which we talk about that being a cell activation patch. We're going to give our disclaimer, which you already alluded to. The patches, of course, are not intended to treat, prevent, or cure any disease. We do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose, nor do we offer any protocols. The suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. No medical claims are being made with the suggestions here. And so with that being said, we also have a fantastic relationship. Wouldn't you agree, Gary, that we have a fantastic relationship with the FDA?
Oh yeah, David Smith does everything by the book, and the 10 years of research and the 90 excuse me, double-blind, mostly independent peer-reviewed studies is gives proof to the fact that what this man has done over 10 years to come up with this is just incredible, of the tenacity and the perseverance of someone. I mean, 10 years. I keep thinking, could I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm not David Schmidt, but just the thought of working on something for that long, I have to believe there were moments that he just, I don't know, maybe not, but some moments you got to like kind of wonder, when are we going to get to the end of this?
Yeah, that was over 23 years ago that he started the 10 years of stem cell research after he invented the first patch. And so it's good to note here that we get inspected every 2 years by the FDA. In the fall of this past year, the FDA took a position that all claims surrounding stem cells and healing, even those from natural products like these patches, will be regarded, can you believe this? They'll be regarded as drug claims. So the FDA also asserts that the claiming that the use of light, which is what these patches use, your own inner body's light, to elevate peptides such as GHKCU is inappropriate for a general wellness product. So as a result, as of the fall until December 31st, we can't say that, although we have 90 clinical studies that show that in the United States, because those clinical studies, all 90 of them were done in the US, Europe, and Asia, not to mention the 120 global patents that we have in not 1, 2, or 3, but in 82 countries. So moving on here, we're going to talk about how this is possible, which, Gary, do you want to talk a little bit about Dr. Lauren Picard, or do you want me?
Well, I'll share what I know about Dr. Laura Picard. I'm reading the book that Dr. John Harmon, if you can see that, How to Reverse Aging, and a lot of it's based on what Dr. Picard has done, and I have his book as well. I'm reading this one too, but the age reversal by Dr. Harmon is just incredible. The amount of information and what the GHK copper peptide actually does. And then the other thing that I'm always amazed at is that Dr. Picard's 50-year study was actually published 50 years ago. I mean, it wasn't like it just came out no, 50 years ago, someone put in 50 years of research, 5,000 clinical tests, which is a lot of testing, done over that period of time. And what this peptide does is just, it's just mind-boggling to read what Dr. Harmon has put together of all the different things. And a majority of them, you're not going to feel. I mean, I had someone today about, I don't feel anything. I said, well, the moment you put on that patch, it's elevating a peptide that goes to work to reset and bring back genes that are dormant, and they come back and go to work 24/7. 42, actually 4,192, which they know how many, and they never stop working, and they do more than anything else is doing currently without it. So that in itself would be, for me, a reason to keep wearing it.
Fantastic. And so the thing is, a lot of people are not aware about what stem cells are. First thing we want to let you guys know is that stem cells are in fact pluripotent. Many have never heard of the word pluripotent. all that means is that they're pluripotent, means plural, plus potential, means many potentials. So our stem cells that we had from the time we were conceived in the mother's womb, each one of those, they're like the master smart cells. They have all of the information to take you from conception all the way to the finish line when you take your last breath. And so each one of those smart cells they can create a heart cell, an enterocyte, which is a digestive system cell, a fat cell, a red blood cell, neurons, anything that you need, bone cells, epithelial cell, which is a skin cell, so on and so forth. And so if you take a look at conception, when your mother's ovum unites with your father's sperm, you now have 23,688 genes that you have complete information so that those genes and those stem cells can now form you in your mother's womb and take you to the age of, let's fast forward the timeline, to 30 years of age. Oh my gosh, what happens? 50% of your stem cells, they turn off by the time you're 30. And 90% of them turn off by the time you're 60 years old. So if you look at the human body, our body is equivalent to a house. It's our temporary housing unit, right? And if you look at inside the body, we have stem cells, these master smart cells. They have the original playbook. They have all the original instructions that built you in your mother's womb and is going to take you to the finish line and replace and restore any damaged cells as you go along, but in declining number, because like I said before, you're going to go at the age of 30, they will have reduced to 50% and 90% turn off by the time you're 60, which means that you only have 10% left when you're 60 until you apply a stem cell activation patch. And you can think of your stem cells, they're a printer ink cartridge in your copy machine. When you make photocopies and you have 100% of the ink, of course, the copy is indistinguishable from the original. But when you make a copy and you have only 10 or 20% of the ink left in your ink cartridges, just like being 60 or 70 years old, guess what? Now you have a faded version, of the original. So let's talk about how. How do the patches work? Where we are actually light beings, not just from a metaphysical, spiritual, religious perspective, but science, as you know, is the contemporary language of mysticism. The mystics, for thousands of years, have known that we are light beings, but science can now prove that. Our military, our law enforcement, they use night vision goggles, and they could see the infrared light, which this spectrograph is actually showing you. And for those of us who have BioWell machines and other AO scans and things like that, we can show how many joules of energy are inside of your body. That's literally measuring the joules of energy from the electrons. Yep, these are electrons and electrolytes through your body. Because your cells, your molecules have electrons. Your blood has electrolytes. Both of them are packets of electricity, which is light. We are infrared light, and that is going to bounce off of the patch. So I want you to think about a diamond. If I shine a light on a diamond crystal, you can see that the light source is the flashlight, just like your body, and it's going to bounce off of that diamond crystal, which is going to reflect back to you the different colors of the light spectrum. And the technology of the patch works very much the same. I'm going to hold up a patch here so that you could see it on the camera. You could see the adhesive circle around the edges, and in the middle you have a white dot, which is a perfectly designed, geometrically arranged crystal lattice of organic sugar crystals, organic salt crystals, organic hydrogen, oxygen, and water crystals, and a proprietary blend of organic amino acids. They're all set and programmed to a particular frequency so that when you apply the patch on your skin, just as you're seeing right here on my arm, immediately it's going to reflect back your own body's infrared light up to 4 inches deep. And while phototherapy has been in fact defined as the use of ultraviolet light for its healing effects, the patches have been specifically developed to reflect the light, just like the diamond crystal in the infrared and visible light bands, back onto the skin where the patches have been placed. Supported by normal electrodermal skin conductance, the human body gives off a number of materials biochemically, including particulate release, tiny little particles, gas emission, ultraviolet, infrared, near infrared, and visible spectrum of light. This then stimulates the area of the skin, producing improved physiological effects. And variations on this phototherapy have been used for at least 100 years. And in that time, there has been very little evidence of negative side effects. Again, we are turning more of you on. We're literally turning you on, baby, because you have 33% of your stem cells that were there when you were conceived in your mother's womb that is now turned back on. How Gary and his wife experience all of the phenomenal changes, regeneration, and reverse aging of their body to unring the bell and disappear all the things that pained them and plagued them. Here you have a picture where we're talking about the first documented use of photobiomodulation. What a ginormous word, photobiomodulation. It's like 5 or 6 syllables, isn't it? All it means is wearable light technology. So the first documented case was in 1895. In 1903, just 8 years later, Niels Ryberg Finsen won the Nobel Prize for his research using red light. That's right. Red light, just like the light bulbs that I have on my ceiling right now, incandescent red. He used red light to treat tuberculosis of the skin. Furthermore, his experiments with mice, Finsen found that exposing them to red light reduced both their symptoms and their mortality rate. Their survivability rate went up from lupus vulgaris. So I want you to notice, these are, again, we talked about how these are FDA registered. Notice, these are non-transdermal. Some of you have never heard of non-transdermal, so I'm going to break it down for you. Non-transdermal simply means that nothing transfers into the dermis, which is the skin. They're non-invasive. They're organic. No bioengineering, no Monsanto. They're organic. They're holistic, FDA compliant, class 1 medical devices. That's right. This little patch that you see me wearing on my wrist here is simply a mechanical device to redirect your own body's infrared light. Your body is the energy source that operates this medical device. This patch is just the mechanical mirror to reflect that back to create this reaction inside of your body that it was originally programmed for. We manufacture our products, yes, at FDA registered facilities in the United States, and our facility in Ireland is registered with the Irish Medicine Board. No small feat at that. We manufacture our products to the same standards as a medical device, because again, you're the power source to that device. And in fact, our facility in Ireland is ISO 9001 and ISO 13485 compliant, and that's actually a quality standard. Gary, how important is it that people drink 50% their weight in fluid ounces of water every day from the time they get up and they go to sleep?
Yeah, I tell everyone water is either a deal breaker or a deal maker. I was a coffee drinker when I got started. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, man, I got to drink water now. And I drank coffee because, for the caffeine. And I just really wasn't a water drinker. So I bought a 50-ounce bottle. And it was a start in the right direction. And now I pretty much stay hydrated throughout the day. I don't know, probably 70, 80, 90 ounces, give or take, maybe some green tea thrown in. And but like anything in life, if your health is important, you do certain things. You cut out fast foods, you exercise, you ground, you take supplements, you get sunshine. You stay hydrated, you get proper rest, and you do. I just added the cold shower to my head. I was like, oh man. I mean, once you know if it's something that's going to help you, and you don't do it, I just don't understand. We've done all of the things for a long time, and but yeah, water is real important. Hydration, and I heard David the other day talk about how it because the mitochondria activates the cells, so they're running at a higher pace, so they need to be hydrated to do that, and they need to be flushed as well which is, cleansed, if you will, and that's what the water does. And we're what, 70 or 80% water anyway, so it's real important. And a lot of people are inflamed because they don't hydrate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like to let people know that, the one thing about water is that when you're 2% dehydrated, you will feel thirst in your mouth. At 8% dehydrated, people aren't aware of the fact that your DNA is 92% water. It's the primary structure that holds up your DNA, 92% water from the time you're conceived until you take your last breath. Check out what happens at 8% dehydration. Here's somebody who is properly hydrated. They have beautiful helix strands. You see the formation. The proper structure is erect, tall, standing. At 8% dehydration, your DNA starts to unravel. That's right, my friends and gems. How horrifying is that? The primary structure of your DNA is water. And now, because you simply chose not to drink water, because you didn't want to go to the bathroom, whatever your excuse might be, the bottom line is your DNA starts to unravel. That is the beginning of symptoms, disease, decay, the malfunction of systems in the body. In fact, my mentor, Dr. who is he's a neurologist who is a brain surgeon, neck and spine surgeon. He says, first of all, you got to know that your brain is very hydrophilic. Your brain is 75% composed of water. The first thing that dehydrates, when you start to get dehydrated and you feel, parched in the mouth, your brain shrinks. There's other parts of your body that shrink too, but more importantly, your brain shrinks. At 8% dehydration, check this out. Your DNA starts to fall apart. At 10% dehydration, you lose your mind. At 12% dehydration, your body shuts down, you're dead. No coming back from 12% dehydration. Everything inside your body can't move and groove. It's like cement, not bueno. Bueno being a technical term, which means good, not good, no bueno. So how often are you supposed to wear these patches? Well, my friends and gems, these are designed to follow the circadian rhythms of your body. We have a 24-hour cycle. You have a sympathetic daytime system, and then you have 12 hours of your rest and digest parasympathetic system. So you're going to wear the patches 12 hours on every day. So let's say from 9 a.m. in the morning to 9 p.m. at night. That's a suggestion. I have people that put them on at 4 a.m. in the morning because they're up at 3:30. They have to get going at 4 o'clock in the morning. So they apply them at 4 a.m. in the morning and they wear them to 4 p.m. But you're going to wear them for 12 hours on, then 12 hours off. Allow that parasympathetic rest and digest. And now you are encouraging that rest, repair, and restore cycle, which is equally as important at the 12 hours on. If you wear the patches 24 hours a day, what happens is that your body will get used to the patches and they will stop working. You don't want that to happen. You want to respect and honor the circadian rhythms of the body. Oh, by the way, so important for you to know. We talked about 50% of your stem cells turning off at the age of 30. Your fibroblasts, did you know that they begin to decline when you're just 25 tender years of age? You barely are getting used to having an adult body, and that fibroblast aids in the production of collagen. It's no wonder that at age 30, 50% of your stem cells turn off. So let me share here. This is a before and after. And this is a lady who, when she started on the patches, she had the curvature of the spine, and you could see how pronounced her scapulas are sticking out. So for those of you who are wondering, can the patches help me repair, regenerate, restore issues with my bones in my body, my musculoskeletal systems, scarring, maybe malformations or distortions that I might have for whatever reason the cause, whether it's trauma or a surgery that went bad or whatever the cause, doesn't matter. Here, this gal has curvature of the spine. You could see the pronounced scapulas, the shoulder blades in the back. You can also notice, if you look here on the right-hand side of her waist, you can see a nice hourglass figure that is clearly absent on the left. And you can see that she's leaning to the left with her left shoulder being higher than her right. Just 4 weeks of wearing our mother stem cell activation patch and the ice wave patch, you will see that now her shoulders are balanced, and now she has a beautiful hourglass figure matching her left and her right. And look at how much straighter her back is after just 4 weeks. Here we have a gentleman. If you're wondering, how well does this do with the skin? Maybe this is only good for bones. These patches are systemic in nature, so it takes care. Can you see my screen? I kind of got a notice here that you guys weren't seeing my screen. Can you see my screen on here? It looks like, I don't know why Zoom would have stopped sharing my screen. Here we go. I'm going to show, I think you guys didn't see. Here's the gal with the before and after. And
Oh, yeah.
the share screening is back on. So here we go. We have the gal with the before and after. This is before, and then 1 month later, you can clearly see how her shoulders are now even. Her back is much straighter, and now she has a nice hourglass figure on both sides, not just leaning to the left. Here we have a gentleman, for people who are wondering, well, can it help my integumentary system, my skin system? Absolutely. Here is a gentleman who had issues with the skin. He had an inconsistency with the amount of melanin, because melanin is what gives your skin color. And you can see that over the course of a year, not only did he look much younger, he had reverse aging, but you can see how he now has an even coloring throughout his skin. He looks much better, much happier, and he is most definitely rejuvenated. Here we have one of our friends, Kathy McCarthy, a friend of mine who lives in Nevada. She started when she was 62 years old on January 20th. You can clearly see she had very, very strong fine lines and wrinkles on her chest, on her neck. And you can see 3 months later how improved just from January to March. By June, the wrinkles were gone. You can see the increase in moisture and collagen in her skin. She still had a hint of lines, but by July, wrinkles, lines gone. Now, from this picture, you can see that
drink the water.
does not look like a 62-plus-year-old person. However, when you go to my YouTube channel and you watch the entire interview that I did, because when she posted these 4 pictures without her profile picture, I told her, Kathy, would you come on and share your entire story? Just like Gary is sharing his entire story here. I said, would you share your entire story so that I can share this with my people on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on social media, etc. And would you give me a profile picture? She said, absolutely, but I'm not giving you a profile picture. I don't take pictures of my profile. I just don't do that. I said, not a problem. We did the Facebook. We did the video. It was a call just like this. We live streamed it to YouTube, and the rest is history. People can see that she matches the picture. This picture is not doctored up. You can see that she looks like she's 35, 40 years old. And at the time when I interviewed her, she was 63. She's now 64. Does that look like 64?
No.
That looks like a 35, 40-year-old in my humble opinion. And as you can tell, she's a beautiful woman. She still doesn't have her picture on her Facebook profile, but she did agree to give me this. And so we have that. Thank goodness for that. Not going to spend a lot of time because I recently, just last week, I did a video where I talked a little bit more about my story. I kind of revealed a little bit more about the emotions and what was going through my mind and my heartfelt emotions when I was hit by a bus. Yes, you are talking to somebody who suffered brain damage. That centralized medicine said, sorry, too bad, so sad. You have brain damage. You can't repair that. Once you have brain damage, all we can do is kind of manage it, but it's just going to decline as you age. Of course, they're right. If you don't activate your own stem cells, of course, you're going to decline. So based on what they know, which everybody has limited information. So luckily, I didn't stop at that. And I did start on the patches. And I had this huge laundry list of things that were wrong when I was hit by a bus, including I had a bald spot on the back of my head that was the size of my palm, which I no longer have. After 4 months, 70% of it filled in. My hair went from dry, coarse, and brittle to silky, smooth, and soft. And I continue to have hair growth. Like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, I still have my hairline has kind of grown down a little bit. So I have all this new hair. And at the beginning, it sticks straight up when it's like really little until it gets long enough where then it kind of goes down because I kind of got a cowlick at the front of my head. So to learn more, the Wellness Superheroes on YouTube did also an interview where we talked a lot about what my story was, soup to nuts, if you're interested in checking that out. So here is one of our friends, Gail Henry. She had a curvature of the spine that was so pronounced that she had a fold of flesh on the back. If you notice, not only you don't have to be a pro to recognize the curvature of the spine. You can see the fold of flesh. You can also see the oxidative stress, the moles, the freckles, the age spots on her back. This is less than 2 months later. Look at how much straighter. It's still not perfect, but it is improved. There's progress. She had a significant, dramatic drop in pain. In fact, I think she had no pain within the first month. Not only that, the fold of flesh is gone, but also look at her skin, how rejuvenated it is. Look at all those freckles, all those moles, all the cholesterol spots, age spots. Look at how much more clear after just less than 2 months of wearing the patches. It really is quite extraordinary. What might be possible for you? We won't know until you get started. So let's talk about the X39. This is our mother cell activation patch. It resets a third of your genes to a younger, healthier state, regenerates cells by replacing damaged cells. Literally, it prints brand new cells. And instead of you, just think about, you hire somebody, a general contractor, to come to your house, and that guy, contractor A, has 10 construction workers on his crew. And he says to you, okay, I can get this full remodel inside out, top to bottom, your ceilings, your floors, your studs, your drywall, your plumbing, your kitchen, your bathroom, your roof, your siding, your landscaping. I can do all of it. It's going to take me 7 years. And yeah, the work can be done, and it'll take about 7 years to do an entire job, soup to nuts. Contractor B, the better contractor, comes in and says, yeah, we can do that same exact remodeling job, but instead of taking 7 years, it's going to only take probably anywhere from maybe a year to a year and a half. And oh, by the way, it's going to cost less. And I have 43 guys on my crew, because you got to bear in mind, when you're 60 years old plus, you have 10% remaining of your stem cells. By adding 33% by activating it through the use of a stem cell activation patch, now you have 33% more. So now you're almost close to 50%, which is what a 30, 35-year-old has. Guess what? That's going to get done more quickly, efficiently, and expeditiously. No wonder the regeneration of cells is so much quicker and so much more efficient. This will restore your collagen. Collagen is the #1 building block protein of the body for all tissue inside and outside of your body, not just your face. Rebuild scar tissue. It's going to replace it with the original tissue. Reduce fine lines and wrinkles. Increase your energy, your sexual libido. That's right, my friends and gems, because young people have sexual libido. Very elderly usually have very little or no sexual libido. So with 33%, when you're hovering about 50%, think about when you were 30 years old, where your sexual libido is. I have so many couples who have a second honeymoon after they start on the patches. It really is pretty cool. With that comes more energy, more antioxidants, anti-aging, anti-inflammation. Many people experience pain relief, anywhere from 50 to 100% reduction in pain within 3 to 4 minutes of applying this fantastic patch. Improved hair growth, that is considered a medical claim. I put that because my personal experience was my bald spot that I had, my point of impact was in the back of my bottom left head and my butt. They were simultaneously hit by the bus. I went airborne flying, and that point of impact was bald for 5 years. None of the compound pharmacy formulas that my regenerative medicine doctor gave me brought my hair back until I applied the patch. And then within 4 months, 70% hair growth, 3 to 4 inches long. And then within a year's time, it filled in, and now it's like a non-issue now. The studies show that you have deeper, sounder sleep because you go into REM state. So a lot of people who have had issues sleeping before, I have yet to have someone start on the patches that doesn't come back to me in the first 24 to 48 that they say, oh my gosh, this is the best sleep I've had since I was in junior high, or the best sleep I've had in 10 years or 40 years, whatever. Everybody is different. I sleep like a baby. I sleep super deep, sound, and solid. Moving on, we recommend that you apply the patches on traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture points. We don't have protocols, but we do have recommendations. We do have, I like to call a Veritas Concilium. That's a true plan of action. A VC, not a venture capitalist. That some people think VCs are venture capitalists. No, this is Veritas, which means true in Latin, and Concilium, which is a plan of action. So we apply that to magnify the effects of the body. Like Gary said at the beginning, him and his wife, and myself too, we wear the patches on our neck bump, also below the belly button, but you may need the patches applied in a different place to create an effect in your body. I see that every day in my practice. So I always tell anyone that gets started on the patches with myself or anyone on my team, we'll do a patch call. Takes 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll tailor it to you because our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible and resolve and dissolve whatever symptom it is that's bothering and plaguing you. We're going to knock it out of the park as quickly as possible. This is just another gentle reminder. Please drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. If you're about 150 pounds, divide whatever your weight is by 2. That will tell you how many ounces you need to drink. 150 divided by 2 is 75. That means 75 ounces of water a day. That's 5 water bottles, because an average water bottle has 16 ounces, or 2.2 liters for our Europeans that use the metric system. All right, I'm going to skip over the glutathione paper quote. I'm just going to go to the bottom. It's just showing that all organs achieved a significant cellular, physiologic, functional status improvement compared to the baseline with a statistical power of at least 91%. That's one of the 90 research papers that we have. For those of you who like to neuro nerd out like I do, you can see the website where we have, it's an educational site, strictly there for you to read the research papers. There's nothing for you to buy. It's just for you to do your due diligence, watch a 2, a 3, and an 18-minute video, check out the research studies, and if you want to check out the patents, 120 plus patents are posted there as well. Oh, by the way, do you realize that the technology that you're using to watch this right now, whether you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, computer, laptop, desktop, iPad, notepad, cell phone, doesn't matter. Did you know that the blue light that's emitted from those devices, it destroys your fountain of youth hormone called DHEA? But guess what? When you apply this patch, it's restored. Blue light destroys DHEA. Did you know that? Think about all the time you spend in front of mechanical electronic devices. It causes inflammation in the body, and it causes insulin resistance. That causes the dysregulation of your mitochondria. For those of you who don't know what mitochondria are, this is what mitochondria looks like, magnified, of course, because every cell of your body, you have 56 trillion cells in your body. Every cell has mitochondria. Mitochondria is responsible for processing your energy through ATP production. And those break when you have blue light toxicity until you wear one of these patches, and it unrings the bell of that damage and it restores that for you. So we're going to get into how much it costs. And of course, we can't charge you $1 million. And we know that traditional stem cell therapy runs anywhere from 8 to 10 to 12. I've had people who have paid as much as $25,000 per session via IV. They had to travel out of the country, and they've started now on these patches. And guess what? You can get started for the cost of a Starbucks coffee a day. Just $5 a day will get you on the path of restoration. And instead of getting things to turn infinitely worse, they can turn to infinitely better. So I want to answer any questions that you guys might have before I move on. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions here? Jane and Carol Gary. If no one has any questions, I will continue on with the cost factor. Just unmute yourself. Jane, might you have any questions?
Thank you. No, not at this time, but I do want to get started. So I don't know, when we can do that.
Fantastic. So get back to the person who referred you to this video.
Okay, that's Carol.
You get started.
That's me. That's
Fantastic.
me.
So then we'll help you get started after this video. Then we can get in contact and we can help you get started with Carol. We'll kind of go from there. So as far as getting started, let's see what time it is, because I want to be respectful of your time. Oh my gosh, it's 2:58. So we're kind of running out of time, but I'm just going to show you real quick. I want to be very transparent as always. I want to show you. Where is my presentation? Why is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, my next slide, I'm going to show you our Dr. Wholesale form. Because if you go directly to our site is not the most user-friendly. Of course, you would get the retail pricing. I love and adore for my friends to have their cake and eat it too. Not only do you get wholesale pricing, but you get free product on a Dr. Wholesale pack. So to get started, you can get started for as little as $2.99. You can get a silver pack. if at 7 p.m., not tonight because it's Friday, but on Monday through Thursdays, I do an hour review. At the 7 o'clock hour, I talk about the Fantastic Five because we do have 11 patches. There's 5 of them that take care of the primary systems of the body. So on a gold pack, you can get the Fantastic Five. They give you 3. That's $300 wholesale, which is about $450 worth of product that they give you for free on a gold pack. And you basically pay $100 a sleeve. And then after that, it's $329 a month. If you're willing to buy 3 months in advance, then you can get the diamond pack. And then they give you 10 to 12 sleeves for free. So that's over like $1,000 or $1,200 worth of product. That's $15.99, but then you save almost 50%. It's from $5 a patch, it goes down to $249 a patch. So I know that's a lot of information. You don't have to remember it all. Get back to the person who referred you to this video, and they can share with you more details. And most importantly, to get your questions answered and also to tailor what patches are best for you, because everybody's different. Everybody needs something different for their body. And the most important thing is that we address whatever your issues are. I did promise that I was going to share with you the site where you could look at the 90 clinical research studies. You will see here, startx39now.com. You could always contact me or get back in touch with the person who referred you to this video. They can send you this link. Take a screenshot if you'd like, and you can see the information there that you can review at your leisure. And if I referred you to this video, you can always reach out to me. This is my hotline. Bear in mind, this is not automated. This is like just tied to my phone. So I literally have to text you the to get started text, which is just a text asking you these questions to get started. Because oftentimes I have busy professionals, busy doctors, lawyers, pharmacists, just, people are busy as a whole. So sometimes they're like, I want to get started, but I don't have time to get on a Zoom. I don't have time for a call right now. But once I get the patches, then we can arrange a call or a Zoom. So I just need to be able to fill this out so I can enter that into my back office. Does that make sense? All right. So I've told you that good bit of information. For those of you who want to rewatch this on YouTube, you can go to this URL, DameLillianWalker.com. That will take you to Love and Money Secrets TV, where you can rewatch this video, share it with a friend, family member, someone you think that might benefit from this. I put this here at the end of the presentation in case somebody wants to take a screenshot of the bullet points of what the mother activation patch does. Each one of these comes in something we call a sleeve. That's just a 30-day supply of the patches. There's 30 patches in each one. And so a sleeve is an envelope, specially designed to hold the patches to protect them. All right, my friends and gems. Last but not least, remember to get back to the person who referred you to get your questions answered. And I want to thank you all for taking time out of your schedules to be here today. Gary, you are awesome. Thank you. You're another one of my superheroes, right alongside David Schmidt. I want to thank you for being here today and sharing your incredible story of transformation and restoration.
Thank you.
And Jane is my friend.
And Jane, thank you for being here. And Vandini, thank you for being here. And for all of you who are on YouTube and on Facebook, thanks. Bob, Perry, Brian, I hope I got you all.
Oh, that was Gary is great. Thanks, Gary.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. And don't forget, David's going to be in Orlando on the 24th of February. Don't want to miss that.
Yeah, we want to be there. All right, Gary, I will see you in Orlando. So I have to book my flights today because that's in about 10 days. I'm going to fly out there on the 20th because that event is on the 24th. So I'll see you there, my friend and gem.
Look forward to it.
All right. Ciao for now, my friends and gems. Bye.
Bye-bye.